Hey, what's up? It's Aaron. I just finished writing an email about some marketing strategies, really about a question I got. And I was like, you know what? I should also record this as a podcast because this is too good. Because the email got too long and, sometimes people don't want to read the whole email. But you might listen to it while you're working out. So welcome back to the Aaron LeBauer Show. If this is your first time here, my name is Dr. Aaron LeBauer. I'm a physical therapist. I've been in business for over 25 years. I started my first business in 2009 as a massage therapist. I transitioned from massage therapy into PT because my clients kept saying, "You're the first person to touch me where it hurt. But when am I actually going to get better?" And I didn't have that answer. I just was the first person to touch them where they hurt. I was able to help them, but I didn't have all the pieces of the prognosis and the corrective exercise and stuff to really get them across the finish line. So I went back to PT school. My first clinical rotation, I saw 43 patients one day in like the second week out of 8. And I knew that day, I was like, I got to start my own business and do it without insurance. I didn't know it was called a cash practice. I just knew I couldn't take insurance. And my clinical instructor told me, no one's going to pay more than their copay for PT. Well, at the time, copays were like 20, 35, and $50. And I was already charging $85 for an hour for massage therapy and body work. And so I was like, well, at minimum, I'll charge the same, but I can probably charge at least another $10 more. I started out charging $95. That was way too low, but that was in 2009. And over the years since then, I've helped literally thousands of PTs launch and scale physical therapy cash practices, occupational therapy cash practices, helped some chiropractors, massage therapists, like psychotherapists, et cetera, just randomly come through our systems. And I've learned a ton. And I think I've put about 2,000 people through our Cash PT Blueprint case study program. I've sold over 8,000 books of the Cash PT Blueprint, which is our book that's a companion to the course. I released that in 2018. So I just want to say, like, if you're looking to grow your clinical practice and do it in a way that's ethical and is focused on what your patients need and not focused on what insurance companies think they should pay for, or Melissa in Iowa think they should pay for, you're in the right place. So I ran a webinar or a masterclass last night, and the topic was the three, really tried and true, these 3 solid marketing strategies to take your physical therapy business to 20K months. That was really the original kind of version of that. I think that one works well, but I have to kind of test the titles. The idea is, how can I give you a couple really easy marketing strategies? Not easy, but like the basic ones, because I'm going to read this question in a minute. Everyone thinks that, well, I have to run Facebook ads. I got to do a lot of advertising. You see probably in a town like mine in North Carolina, you see the orthopedic surgeons run ads in the newspaper. Well, no one reads the newspaper anymore. But when I started, it was like, oh, I got to get in the newspaper. Because that's what they're doing. And that's who I feel like I'm competing with. Well, we're not really competing with them. But it feels like we've got to do ads and ad budgets. So here's the question. So when you register for one of my webinars, generally I send you an email. 1, I want to make sure you got it. And 2, I want to know, like, what do you want to learn? So I get a response from some of them. And this person replied and said, as I open up a new private practice in the next 2 months, what's the best way to get new leads for someone that is starting out and has not much connection in the community or does know a lot of people? Probably they meant doesn't know a lot of people. But in the email, I just copied it verbatim. I want people to know, like, I'm not making these up. It's like, or doesn't know a lot of people, ads, social media. If so, what budget should be expected for the marketing strategy? 500 to 1,000. And here's my answer. Look, the answer is not going to be the exact same as the email, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. Like, number one thing is, when you run Facebook ads, we got to make sure that you're running ads to something that works. And what does it mean by work? It means that people click on it, they respond to it, they become clients. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. You can't run an ad to anyone to call you these days. A Facebook ads agency is probably going to cost you a minimum of $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month maybe. But Facebook ads are a little bit easier these days, but still complicated. it's a learning curve to get in there, but there's a lot of AI generated, ways to get it in front of the right people. But we can run ads to something. And so that $2,000 to $3,000, even $5,000 a month is just for the ad buyers, like monthly fee. Plus you have to spend money on ad spend. It's really expensive, especially when you don't know if this is going to work. So really, here's the number one best way to get leads, especially for someone brand new in town. And it's an answer that you may not want to hear. It's an answer that you might not like. I mean, I had someone ask, Aaron, if I want to run a business, do I need to be on social media? This was a question last night. My answer was, no, you don't need to be. I will say this though, it helps and it's not going to hurt. And you're not using social media for an escape. You're using it for your business. I think the other question people ask that's similar is, Aaron, I want to have an online business, an online coaching business, an online education company, but I don't want to run social media. I don't want to be on social media. Well, you know what? You're going to have a hard time doing it. It's not impossible because but you have to have some online strategy to have online business. But it doesn't have to be through social media. It can be YouTube. It can be through articles, etc. But we have to have something. So let's just start there. Okay, so here's my answer on the number one best way to get leads, especially for someone in a brand new town, or even for an old dog like me who's been in town for 15 years. The absolute best way is to get in front of people personally in their space, but also online, digitally. You need to talk to as many people as possible. So when you're starting out, if you want to launch a practice or you want to get more people in the door, once you've got an email list of prospects and patients, to get more people in the door, we can send a few emails. And we do that in our PT Marketing Machine Accelerator program. We give our members monthly email promotions and marketing promotions to generate business off of their list, but we have to build a list of prospects and clients. So to start out, to build that list, we need to get in front of people. We need to break bread with them. You need to shake their hands. You need to talk to them, get to know them, ask them questions, and then make them an offer. You need to understand that most people are going to say no. Most leads are going to turn to dust. It's a numbers game. You can't go out and ask 3 or 4 people and then go, oh, they all said no. I guess this doesn't work. One, you can't leave with an ask. You have to lead with a give. So we go through the give to get principle and mindset in our Cash PT Blueprint program. It's like we have to lead with value. Hey, so-and-so, hey, a lot of my clients and my patients, I own a physical therapy business in town. Patients are always asking me, where should they go for yoga or to exercise? So I'm going to be in the neighborhood next week. Do you have 5 minutes so I can stop by, ask you some questions, see the gym, and just check it out? Who's going to say no to that? And then you go and you ask them, hey, who do you guys like to work with? Who could I send here? What are the top problems that you guys see? Like, what are maybe the top injuries or complaints that patients have about their bodies? And they'll tell you, hey, by the way, do you think it would be out of the question to put together a workshop on, how to lift heavier overhead or how to, get back to overhead lifting without shoulder pain or after shoulder injury? You might say, yeah, let's do that. And then boom, that's kind of your ask, but we're not starting with that. One of the mistakes people make is that, Aaron, I've asked a bunch of places for workshops and they've all said no. Well, you got to make it about them, and it's a numbers game because a lot of people are going to say no, but you just need that 1 or 2 people that say yes, and you get 4 or 5 patients from there. And then the patients start telling their other friends and people in the classes, and then it's a gold mine. That's point number 1. Number 2, you need an irresistible offer. You need an offer so irresistible that people are willing to spend an hour on their weekend or an hour in the evening to show up and listen. It needs to hit exactly what they want. Or it needs to be so irresistible, so valuable that people are willing to give up their name, phone number, and email address for it. Now, when they show up in person, you're going to collect that information. And online, in order to run a Facebook ad, I got to be able to have something that's irresistible enough for people to give me that information. And hopefully my stuff works, and maybe you've seen it. You probably haven't seen the clinic stuff, but maybe you've seen my coaching stuff. Maybe that's why you're listening to this. Was it irresistible enough for you to give up your, contact details? Even if you were like, well, let me just see what he's doing. Yeah, it worked. But you know what? I don't always hit the mark, and neither will you. So we have to have this irresistible offer for people to trade their time and contact details. It can be free. An irresistible offer is also paid. We've got to have offers, all along this process. We need to have an irresistible offer to get them into the clinic for a total body diagnostic, and then for a plan of care. We can, when we run a workshop or an event, we have a table at an event. We need to have offers to collect contact information. We need to do it if we're going to run ads to it. But let's don't spend money on it unless it works without spending, organically without spending money. Or if you've got a really big budget, you can't. If you're like, hey, Aaron, is it $5,000 to $1,000? You don't have a big enough budget to figure this out with Facebook ads because you're going to run through that really quickly. $5 a day is, I think, the minimum you can spend on Facebook ads, and that's 5 times 30, which is $150 a month. 10 months, and you're over $1,000. I mean, that's a long time. You should be able to figure it out, but you might not have the high enough volume. $300 a month, $10 a day, $300 a month, 3 months in, and you'll get to $1,000, and that's when you're just starting to figure out, are the Facebook ads really, rocking and rolling? And how do we know Facebook ads rocking and rolling? We're getting people to watch it. We're getting people to click and land on the landing page, but they might not go from the landing page to the opt-in. So we have to figure that out. We have to figure out where that bottleneck is. Then, okay, now they're on our list, but maybe they're not responding to the offers to come into the clinic or call us. So we have to figure out where all those bottlenecks are. And that takes time. So point 3 is we can do these things in person, on social media, via emails, text, webinars, etc. So, maybe you're someone like Derek Nielsen made $96,207 in his first 12 months in business. And that was back in 2018. That was in an older pricing model. That was before we raised our rates. That was before Derek working for me for a year as a cash PT resident was when I realized I wasn't charging enough to be able to hire another PT and pay them a salary that they want to treat patients and to operate the business and to generate at least a little bit of profit for myself. So we had to raise our rates, but Derek left and we raised the rates, and Derek charged the $150 rate. He made just under 6 figures. But then he got his confidence along the way. He did 15 patients in a week, treating them about 5 years faster than I did. I mean, so what Derek got in his first 8 months is what took me 5 years to do. Derek moved from Utah. He was from Utah. He went to PT school in Philadelphia. And then he moved to North Carolina to work with me, met a girl, and then moved to Durham because she wanted to be a nurse practitioner. I think she was already a nurse or CNA. She wanted to go to nurse practitioner school at Chapel Hill. And he moved there. He didn't know anyone. He got out in front of the community. As much as he hated doing workshops, he still did them. I remember he met with one of the Strong First kettlebell instructors there, Betsy, and took one of her classes. And I was like, dude, you got to go meet her, go take the class. Don't work out alone. I mean, the same thing I tell you about, I told Owen, just get out in front of people. And he did that. He's like, yeah, but it's, I don't like doing that. And so what did Derek do? He ran an in-person workshop in my clinic, one of his last weeks as a resident. He ran a back pain workshop, and we rented chairs. We promoted it to email lists. We tried to get partners to promote it, etc. He had a handful of people there. I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 people. And then he took that workshop and he turned it into an online workshop because I was running webinars for my coaching business at the time. I still am because, I did it recently. And he turned that into a webinar for people in the community to get them into the clinic. And he got it so it worked. And then he started running ads to it. And so instead of going out and doing workshops, he did that. But he developed the webinar and the offer, and he was able to, get that rolling, and which is awesome. I mean, so then he would run paid ads to it. And then Derek started doing that for a couple other people he knew. And then in the last, about 9-10 months ago from when I'm recording this, back in May, April or May of 2024, I contacted Derek because I needed some more help running systems, and my business needed someone to help now run ads again for me. And so Derek's been running my Facebook ads. He's been helping with our marketing, and together we've built out our PT marketing machine software to help, which is the all-in-one cash clinic software that you may have heard about, that helps generate leads and converts leads into patients, but it also runs the EMR, the website, the calendars, scheduling system, online intake form, allows you to have another phone number instead of your cell phone. And it's a pretty much all-in-one account that's HIPAA compliant. It's awesome. So Derek's been helping me do that, build our marketing strategy and update things. And it's great. And he learned a lot of that along the way doing this. And he did it by generating leads and writing copy. Okay. So let me just say fast forward 2021, I ran a workshop. It was a small paid workshop called Patients and Profits on Demand. I don't do it that very often. I've done it a few other times, but there's other things I've done like PT BizCon, and I've done one-day boot camps. So it's one of these kinds of strategies where it's a paid training with me to build your business. Owen Johnson showed up. Owen was starting his business in San Diego. I think it was in San Diego, but he's from North County. I mean, so he's far enough away that he was in an area his 10-mile radius. He didn't have any connections either. While he had been working at Kaiser, I think he was doing home health, and he wasn't in San Diego, the city. And so now his clinic is in the city, and Owen did $7,400 his first month. One of the things that we did is Owen was like, I'm going to charge $75 a visit. And I was like, no, not going to do that. For this group, we ran our, it's called the New Patient Challenge. And Owen was actually the winner. He went out and he just got in front of people and got patients in the door, got his hands on them, talked to them, got them in the door. And there were people in this program that already had patients coming in. And the challenge was, hey, in the next 7 days, whoever can bring in the most revenue from new patients, here's the email script, here's the script to talk to people, here's the offer. I gave it to everyone. I give this to a lot of our mastermind members when they get started too. And Owen brought in 4 or 5 new patients, and he got some paid in fulls, and we had raised this price. And I was like, you got to do this. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yes, you have to do this. And he did it. He made $7,400 his first month, but in that first year, he made $240,000 in his first 12 months. And one of the things he was able to do was unretire his wife, Jen, who is a PT, had quit PT and was doing sales of essential oils. I can't remember the company. She was making 6 figures doing that. And so she unretired because Owen got busy to come see some overflow patients so Owen could keep the marketing. And then they've scaled up and hired other people. And after 2 years, we're doing about $500,000 and are on track to do $1 million in their business, which is dope. But remember, he had no connections. What did he do? He went out and introduced himself to other business owners, other people who had his avatar, yoga classes, CrossFit gyms. And I said to him, and I've said to a lot of my mastermind members when they're starting, I was like, don't work out alone. Do you work out? Yeah. Okay, great. Don't work out alone. Go to different classes. Okay, do you do CrossFit? Yeah. Okay. Go to CrossFit 3 days a week, but or 5 days a week, but go to 2 different gyms. Get known at these different places, or someone will go to CrossFit a few days a week and then go Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a couple days a week, and then maybe yoga class on Sunday. What did he do? He introduced himself to other business owners, gym owners. He didn't work out alone, and he ran workshops. And they run a workshop every week, and I think they run a workshop somewhere else every week. And then Jen was running a yoga relaxation self-care workshop during the week, and they're doing these things for the community, and they're shouting out other members of the community, and they're helping promote them. And it's an abundance thing, and they generate leads from people coming to these events, and they nurture them. Both these guys, Derek and Owen and Jen, will nurture leads, nurture people through email, through SMS marketing, make them an offer to come into the clinic for a total body diagnostic or a consultation to see if we can help. So here's a couple similarities between them. They both got in front of hundreds of people. I mean, hundreds of people. And I'm not just talking about hundreds of business owners. Like you get, a workshop with 10 people, you do 10 workshops of 10 people. You're in front of hundreds of people. I'll tell you what, I wrote an email. I wrote an email the other day. And it's about when I was at CrossFit. I've been going to a new CrossFit gym. I met a great girl, so I'm now going to the CrossFit gym with her sometimes. She's awesome. And one of the members there was like, hey, Dr. LeBauer, at the end of the class, I'd like to talk to you before you leave. Sure. And I ran an injury assessment on her. Well, why did she feel comfortable coming to ask me? Is because I've been going there and I'm a familiar face. Even though there's a lot of things I hate about CrossFit, I still like to work out. And people, same thing. I mean, I'll get it at the other CrossFit gym I go to, when I go to yoga a lot. When you're out and about in the community, when you're meeting new people and friends, they find out what you're going to do. They're going to ask. A lot of my best clients and customers are the people I know personally in the community. And so you cannot discount that. So part of it is you got to get over your fear of saying hello and introducing yourself to others. Those are some of the similarities. Like Derek didn't like doing that. I mean, I can tell you that, Owen and Jen, while they're really great, outgoing extroverts, it's also exhausting to do that too. But neither of them had ads budgets or were like social media influencers. I mean, Owen and Jen have a little bit bigger Instagram account, and I think Jen might run it for the clinic. Owen definitely didn't. It's like, I've got an Instagram account. I'm not getting hundreds of patients. I'm not relying on that. Everyone thinks that that's the thing you rely on, but it's not. Here's some of the differences between them. They both had great results. I think number one, one was in Durham. Durham, North Carolina is next to Chapel Hill and Raleigh, which is a really big area. there's 1.5 million people in that triangle area. They're 10 minutes apart. So people are going to come from Raleigh to Durham and Chapel Hill to Durham and vice versa, because they work in different places. So they're both in biggish towns. San Diego is clearly bigger, and Durham is a little bit of a smaller town. It's 350,000 people surrounded by another 1 million people. Okay, so what are the other differences? Owen really, they've done more workshops. Derek did them online. But really the biggest difference is Owen benefited from an additional 4 additional years of lessons and refining the launch strategy from working with thousands of other cash practices. And so Owen did if Derek did in 8 months what it took me 5 years to do, Owen did that in like 3 or 4 months. And then, it took me, years. It's like just sped up the process. And part of that is time and experience. The other part is Derek was doing more of the Cash PD resident thing, and Owen was in our mastermind. And our mastermind has, handfuls, dozens of people. We've put hundreds of people through it. And that experience compounds. And that's also, it's like, how do you learn from other people and pass on what you learn? Owen then passed on his strategy for doing the workshops and enrolling people in plan of care to someone like Joey Seaforth. And then Joey came through and did he did a 30K month. I think he did a 40K month in his first 12 months, which is incredible. He spent a lot of time, killed it, did some online stuff as well that month, but he did like $38,000. And, I don't know that Owen did that big of a month in their first 12 months. And Odell Miller did a 30K month. But also you could say those are outliers. But the speed to success is a lot faster for the people that follow the path and follow the proven results and share it with others, and we refine it. That's one of the big differences. But really, are they both successful? Yeah. Owning a business is hard. Owning a business takes time. One of the other things you have to invest is time. So you have to be willing to invest your time to figure out the strategies. The other big difference was when Derek started, we were charging $147, and Derek was like, well, I'm going to start at $147 because that's what you're doing. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to $247, $250. And Ms. Tyler came on, and Derek was like, and he waited. Whereas Owen was like, I'm starting at 75. I was like, no, you got to do at least $225. You're in San Diego. He was like, okay, but I had a lot more experience. Maybe Derek was like, Aaron doesn't have that much experience. That was in 2017. I'd been coaching for 4 years, I think at that point, 5 years. And there's some other ones. I mean, they're both very different people and stuff like that. But that was the main thing, is those are some differences. We've got better marketing strategies, better enrollment process now. Really, to generate leads and fill your schedule, which is really what everyone wants. So it's like, I want to fill my schedule. I want to be booked out. I want to have a wait list. You need to budget at least 5 to 10 hours, like realistically, at least 5 to 10 hours every month to work on the marketing. In the early stages, you might need to budget more, maybe 20 hours a week working on writing up the back-end systems and emails, etc. I mean, I can hand you over a system with 70 to 80% of it done. You still need to go in there and spend some time connecting things and updating the language so it fits yours. I've done a lot of that work. We can save you a lot of time, but you need to budget a lot of time building out the systems because they're going to run for you for dozens of years, decades. Maybe money-wise for the marketing, I'd say $200 to $400 a month to start, for the software. Maybe you're going to do some ads, but you're only going to do ads like in paper or for Teams or email broadcasts and Facebook. You're only going to do that when you have a thing that works. Or if we can utilize, the sponsorship to get in front of people. So maybe it's, are you going to do a $500 a month sponsorship? Maybe not. But we have to have this back-end system. That's why we built the PT marketing machine, is to get people this back-end system handed over pre-built. It still needs to be connected, still needs like a lot of your work, but we've accelerated the process for you. So you get like a big leap ahead of where both Derek and Owen, what they had. Derek had nothing of that. I was able to give him, here's some of the emails that we use. Owen had an older version of the system that was email only. They had to go build out some more stuff. And now we just hand over this like much more robust, like all-in-one system. Like I said, it does the EMR, the scheduling, the email follow-up, text, the numbers. It can do the online intake forms, the HIPAA secure stuff. It doesn't do the documentation. You just use Google Drive, Google Docs for that, but pretty much does everything else that you're going to need in your clinic, hosts your website, etc. Okay, we've got that. So that's software. And there's a little bit of extra. Really, it's more about the time marketing. When we get some things that work, maybe we run, sponsor an event. I'll do $200 to donate and sponsor the CrossFit event and go there. And I'm just working out there. I'm not even have like a booth where I'm doing the work or doing anything. Maybe we should do more of that, but that's not my big thing. The other thing you might want to invest in is some coaching like they both paid for. So maybe take that into consideration. If you work with me, the whole idea that I have around this at least is, can I set you up with a system and give you new strategies that will generate at least 1, if not 2 more new patients a month? And that you can use those every month. We can set them up on autopilot through PT Marketing Machine, or you just run this strategy every month. If I teach you the workshop strategy and you run 1 workshop a month or 1 a quarter, and it brings in, 12 patients in the year, that should cover pretty much most of the coaching. It's like, that's kind of how we do it. So take that into consideration when you enroll in coaching. It's, can you get a return on your investment? And the return isn't always financial, but it's about clarity. It's about time. It's about speed to success. And ideally, if you have patients starting, I can help you get money sooner. But if you're starting from scratch, like many of our members have, there's going to be a delay between starting and the financial win. And ROI, but you have a time and speed ROI. You can take 5 years to get to 15K months like I did, or you can invest $25,000 to get to 15K months in your first year. I think I'd choose that second, but that's up to you to decide and find out. So once we've got a strategy that works, once we have hey, I can run a workshop or a webinar, or I can go do a community event or something. I can post on social media and people want my free thing, or they want to chat with me or a free call. Then maybe it's time to then go into paying for ads. If you're probably not familiar with in our Platinum Mastermind, I have a roadmap. And running Facebook ads is a strategy on there, but there's a lot of other strategies that come first. And even before we get the irresistible offer, we've got the Dream 100 strategy. We've got irresistible offer. We've got to run events. We've got to generate leads. We've got to be able to convert people from leads into cash paying patients. Before we even do that, we have to know who our avatar is and our USP, our unique serving or selling proposition or value proposition. We have to have that, because if we don't know that and we're not clear, then no matter what we do, the marketing won't land. We have to have this market message match. I'm really getting deep into this. What I want you to know, like we covered this on the training, and I cover this more in depth in our programs. But once we have those things running, then we can run ads to it. But most of our members who are running a clinic aren't running ads until they're really their second year, or at least they're doing like 25 to 50, 50K months. And then let's go run some ads. Okay. The amount you just spend on an ad, it really depends on how effective your funnel is. If it works, if you know, hey, I put $500 in and it spits out one patient that's valued at $1,500 or $2,000, like you keep putting money in and you keep doing that. You have to be able to track it, and you have to be able to say, hey, when I do this, I get that result. So let's keep doing more of that. It's harder than it sounds, especially with paid ads, because I can't pixel you when you walk in my clinic. But then if it doesn't work, you need to go somewhere and ask for help. Say, hey, I need some help. I need some objective help. Let's review the metrics, spend time to refine the process, because you can say, hey, this never worked for me. But that's like patients saying, yeah, I tried physical therapy and it didn't work. Well, there's 10 different brands of kinds of physical therapy. There's McKenzie, there's MFR, there's exercise only, there's, needling. There's all kinds of different things. There's different views. There's different ways to assess patients. Physical therapy is really broad. And saying that Facebook ads don't work, when all the most successful companies in the world are using Facebook ads, it's not that Facebook ads don't work, it's the process doesn't work. We just have to be willing to admit that. So if it doesn't work, you need to ask for help and get some help to figure it out. And that's one of the things that we do with our clients. So I talked about the avatar thing. We also have to have this proven irresistible offer, because people aren't going to give you their contact info if you don't have it. And that is the type of workshop you run. How do we get people from the workshop? I'll do an email list. How do we get them from the workshop to book in a time at the clinic or do an injury assessment, etc.? So that was a lot. I hope it's not too much. I would love to know if you'd like more, or if it's like, if there's something different you want to learn about. Like that's where we started with, is an email. If you'd like to go over a marketing strategy and you want to get another set of eyes on your marketing strategy, let's say you're already treating patients. You've already got people in the door. You're seeing at least 5 people a week, but maybe you're at that, stuck at like, 6 figures, 8K months. You're just kind of treading water. You want some more traction. We need to make this go faster. Or maybe you're doing 18, 20, 25K months, and we're looking at hiring a new PT. How do we get them busy? How do we get more people come in the door so that they stay busy, and you can scale it? I'd love to hop on a new patient strategy call with you, look at your marketing, your systems, your strategy, your niche, your offer, and see what's possible for you in the next 12 months. If you'd like that, you can go to callwithaaron.com. Though there's usually a link below. You can also DM me on Instagram. Just DM me the word strategy, and I'll get you a link to book in a time to chat. It's just a quick 15-minute chat. If I can't help, I'll let you know politely and tell you what I think you should do instead. If I can, we'll book in a second time to talk about how and what that might look like. So that's callwithaaron.com. And if you want to go see for yourself what worked for Owen and Derek, you can also go to that page. There's a video of each of them, plus a couple of our other clients on there, talking about the strategies they used and what was working well for them, etc. That's all I really want to do, is show you what works well for me, what works well for others, and help you get there even faster. So that's it for today's show. Remember, to get new leads, we got to have something people want, and we have to answer the question in their mind, which is, can you help me? And what's the question that they're asking? And you'll know that question if you know your avatar. I'll see you on the next show. Adios.